Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today I thought we'd have a look at these. Basically, Sega controllers for the old Master System. Now I'm quite a fan of the Master System. Must admit I didn't have one back in the day. I only knew a lad that had a Master System. Used to play quite a few bits on it, and it's actually one of the first retro consoles I got hold of. Probably about 15 years ago or so, was a Master System, and it's a great console. You can mod it and give a nice RGB output. You can do the 50-60 Hertz mod on it and get a nice full screen image on. Basically, they're a nice little system to have. Like I say, they're evidently moddable, but they have one issue really, and that's the controllers for them. They're actually quite a nice controller, but they seem to suffer from one issue, and as far as I'm aware, no one yet has come up with a solution to it, and that's basically this. The plastic, hang on, yeah, we're free now. Basically, the plastic that the little D button there are made of fatigues, and it breaks around the middle. Sorry, it breaks around the edge there, and basically the D-pad drops out. And as far as I'm aware, no one is making a replacement for that. I know someone has tried moulding one. I myself have tried moulding one using a resin. You basically using one from a good controller like that one and some resin, and tried making my own. I've not been successful. I've not been able to get it flat and smooth and true enough to actually fit and actually work properly on all controls. Now I've tried a few times, so basically I gave up on that idea. So what do you do basically if you like your Master System and your nice controllers have ended up looking like that? It just so happens that you can't just plug a joystick in and expect it to work on the Master System, because most 8-bit style joysticks that we used on the C64 and your Specky and what have you, they only actually, even if they have more than one physical fire button, they're wired, so basically all the fire buttons are in parallel. So you click one, it's the same as clicking the other. You see them with 4 fire buttons on them, but all 4 fire buttons do exactly the same thing. Fortunately, QuickShot, in their infinite wisdom, brought out, and this is the only thing, there's no, unless you actually have it in your hand, there's no real way of knowing, because they brought the same models out both with and without this feature. But QuickShot, like I said, in their infinite wisdom, made some joysticks which are switchable. If you look at this, this is quite a late QuickShot. This actually, I'm not sure exactly on the model number of it. This is a QuickShot QS130F. If we look on the bottom of it, it'll do Atari and Commodore, MSX, Amstrad, and Sega. And it has a little 4-way switch here. Now this one, if we move it down to the D, which is Sega, this is now compatible with the Master System, and basically we have 2 fire buttons like we have on the Master System controller. I'll just show you that now. In fact, what we'll do is we'll switch this to A, so this is though it's a standard Atari joystick, and we'll plug it into the Master System. I'll just put you over onto the screen now. We've got Alex Kidd in Miracle World up on here, and as you can see, basically left and right, up, down. Obviously up doesn't do anything at the moment, it does when you're swimming, but your D-pad does all its normal things. Your fire button 1 punches, but to jump you need your fire button 2. So if we swap this over and we put the QuickShot in, which is currently configured just as a standard Atari joystick, we'll connect that up to the Master System. So we've got this QuickShot connected up, and as you can see, we can run backwards and forwards, we can squat down, we can punch like that, but we can't jump. So we can't really play the game. I mean, there's some games where you need the second fire button like this. You can't jump without it. you're a bit stuck. So what we do is we flick that down onto D, like that. And now, the second fire button, if you look, that button there, makes him jump. So we've got punch on that button there, and we've got jump on that button there. So that's one alternative. There's a few different sticks out there that are like this. They all seem to be made by Quickshot. So we've got that. We've got this strange thing. I've got a few of these. Again, it's a Quickshot. It's a bit like a handlebar. This is the Quickshot. I'll give you the model numbers in case you're struggling yourself and you can look out for these things. Because generally speaking, these Quickshot joysticks only sell for £1 or £2 on eBay. Especially if they're untested, and they're easy enough to sort out. And they will give you a good controller for your Master System if your original controllers have packed up. This one is a Quickshot model number QS129F. So it's probably not the most ergonomic looking of joysticks, this one, but again, let's just plug it into the old Master System. And again, he runs around alright. He can punch, but in it's just set in the Atari mode, both buttons, like that, they just punch. We flick the switch over onto the D position, and now the back button jumps. You can see there, the front button punches. So we can indeed play the game with this quite happily. So yeah, that's another possibility. Like I said, it's these seem to sell for very little money. They aren't horrendous to use either. They take a little bit of getting used to because you really have to hold it like that. But once you've got used to them, they're not a horrendous stick to use. So that's another option you've got. And again from Quickshot, we've got this if you prefer your arcade sticks. And this you don't need to do anything with. This basically is compatible with the Master System, and I think it's also compatible with the Mega Drive. And it's rather a nice arcade style stick, you know, sit it on your desk like that. This has the added advantages. It is actually for player 1 and 2. It uses 2 joystick ports. They both go into the Master System, Mega Drive or whatever. Like that. And player 1 and player 2, basically you select between player 1 and player 2 using that switch on the actual controller. I don't know whether this one actually is in working order or not. It's literally, I've just dragged these out of my I think this one might need some repair work on it actually. Yeah, because I'm not moving go on. Let's try swapping them over. I've probably got that in the wrong side. There we go. Is that going to work now? Yeah, there we are. And these, like I said, these aren't a bad controller either. Strangely, it's B and C. B's punch and C is jump. Oh, I've died there. Never mind. But yeah, that is another another option. Is like I said, there's quite a few of these about. I've seen quite a few on eBay. They do tend to sell for a tiny little bit more than some of the other Quickshots. Probably because it is an arcade style stick. They're not horrendous either. I mean, they're not micro switched or anything, but they're quite nice to use, obviously, and they're better than nothing. They're better than a broken controller for your Master System. And obviously, you can use it on your Mega Drive. I actually have one of these in my own personal collection, and I have it sat between an Amiga and a Commodore 64, and I have one going into each computer. So if I'm playing on the Amiga, I flick it to player 1, and if I'm playing on the C64, I just flick it over to player 2. So I can have the one controller and the 2 computers. I mean, nice little controllers to have. Like I said, it gives you multiple There's multiple options and multiple uses for them. And then of course you've got your old Mega Drive controller, or Genesis controller if you're over in the US, and this will work on a Master System just fine. So obviously you've got your in and out, you've got your, yeah, it's B's punch and C is your jump. Oh, there, I'm dead, never mind. So like I said, that's your other option you've got, is if you've got a spare Genesis controller, you can use that on your Master System as well, it's not a problem. So let's get back to this this scrappy controller here. What, however, though, if you would rather have a controller like this, you like a D-pad controller, you don't want a joystick, you don't want something you have to hold like that, there is an option which I am looking into. I haven't tried this yet. I'm going to do another video actually on doing this. I might do that as the next video, or in a few videos time. Basically, what can we do with that to make it usable again? And I found these on eBay, and what I bought was one of them. Now these are cheap and nasty. They cost, I think it was about £1.99, £2 delivered from China. And they're designed for use with like emulators. It's USB and designed for use with NES emulators for your Nintendo. But for the feel of it, the buttons, the power buttons, they're not actually bad. I mean, yeah, the plastic is a little bit cheap and feels a bit cheaper than the original Sega, but they still don't feel horrendous. So what I think we'll do in the next video is we'll take an old Sega controller like this, because all we want off it really, I mean, I'm only using that because this is scrap. Obviously I'll keep whatever's worth keeping to repair other Sega controllers, like the case, the buttons, the membrane on this one's shot anyway, and obviously that's gone. But we'll take the cable off it, and we will look at turning that into a Master System controller and see how well it works. Obviously we only need 2 of the buttons, so we may end up paralleling the buttons up or something like that. But yeah, I thought that would make a nice replacement for the old Sega Master System, a faulty Sega Master System controller. If you haven't got one of these other controllers you want to use, or you just want to do it because you want an alternative controller for your Master System, you don't like using a joystick, you don't like using a Genesis controller, and you want something different. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now for this video. I hope you found that at least a little bit useful. I will do another video on actually stripping these 2 down and seeing if we can make a Master System controller out of that. But for now, thanks for watching, and goodbye.